Fake news can stir unrest, foster fear, and manipulate votes. In the world's largest democratic election, in India, it played a huge part. How can fake news spread so easily? Who creates it? And how can we stop it? That's our topic today on Shift. With 900 million voters, India is the world's largest democracy. In the run-up to the 2019 election, fake news about sitting Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his BJP party flooded social media. Like here. UNESCO declares Narendra Modi to be the best Prime Minister in the world. The picture is real, the headline is pure fiction. These stars support the BJP. Really? It turns out the writings on their scarves was photoshopped. For this crowd of Modi supporters, it looks vast, but it was just a photo montage. The problem isn't just in India. Social media is full of fake news. And the worst part is, this is where users get most of their information.
Some 300 million Indians use Facebook, more people than in any other country. Shop owner Ram Shankar Rai, for example, spends about 2 hours each day on social media, reading up on news and this year's election.
When I watch news, I obviously consider it to be true. News is so popular in India. How can I consider it false?
The problem is that many people believe what they see on social media. That makes online rumors and disinformation so effective. In India, lots of fake news tends to get shared through WhatsApp. And who would distrust their friends, right? Now, Facebook, which bought the messaging service in 2014, has begun to tackle the issue by limiting the number of people users can forward content to. Only time will tell if this will help rid WhatsApp of fake news. Experts aren't convinced. For now, disinformation just keeps spreading. But why do some people create fake news in the first place?
Social media is popular with anybody eager to spread their worldview. And fake news tends to get created and shared to sway political opinion or to sow discord.
Anyone who only gets their news from alternative media outlets and on social media risks falling for disinformation and getting trapped in a filter bubble. Much of this content is simply false and designed to get people worked up.
Fake news can be tailored to users because their data is tracked and analyzed on social media.
If I'm a Facebook page and I get you to like my page, I can now look at your profile and see what topics you talk about and your sentiments about those topics, how positive or negatively you talk about those things. So now I can advertise to you using your specific keywords that you use with the same sentiments that you use. So I'm using your data to persuade you the way I want you to be persuaded.
And users can monetize fake news too. The more attention and clicks it garners, the more advertising revenue a user can make.
Fake news can generate immense advertising revenues. In fact, many people in the North Macedonian town of Veles got rich producing fake news in the 2016 US presidential race.
Pope Francis shocks world, endorses Donald Trump for president. Clinton emails linked to political pedophile sex ring. Fake news stories like these were produced by a group of students from North Macedonia during the U.S. presidential race in 2016. They were based in the city of Veles, which underwent major deindustrialization after the disintegration of Yugoslavia. Many factories shut down and unemployment was high. So creating fake news presented a great opportunity to make some fast cash. How? Step 1. Create a website and a Facebook profile with a catchy name. Start posting plagiarized or made-up news stories with sensational headlines. Step 2. Create or buy fake Facebook accounts and use them to share links to dubious fake news content. This led unsuspecting social media users to the Macedonian fake news sites. As more and more users visited the sites, Google increased its advertising, which in turn meant the students earned more ad revenue. The fake news gold rush was kicked off by businessman Milko Chichelkowski. He gives online marketing courses and says he accidentally helped Donald Trump win the U.S. presidential election.
It was all accidental. My students were purely motivated by money, by the revenue the political news generated. The revenue numbers were crazy high, and they were motivated to work around the clock and distribute more and more political news.
At one point, 140 fake news websites were registered in Veles. Some were so good at spreading fake news, they were making several thousand euros a day. Huge earnings in a country where the average income is just 360 euros a month.
And the fake news frenzy continues. For each fake profile that Facebook deletes, for each fake news site taken down, another one appears somewhere else. Most of us would probably say we are not that easy to trick. But haven't we all shared something online because it's funny or because it confirms our beliefs without carefully checking the facts first?
Today, the sheer amount of content on social media is simply too much for most people to process.
The ordinary person, and by that I mean pretty much everyone, including myself as a media professor, is overwhelmed by the quantity of online content. We are unable to judge the quality and accuracy of all this content. We're basically drowning in information.
Manipulators capitalize on this information overload. They deliberately disseminate controversial content on social media, making it look like people are sharing it.
Humans are social creatures. If we feel there's a majority opinion on an issue, we tend to side with it. The problem with digital platforms is that they're full of people and opinions. And we're unable to tell if they are genuine or just bots churning out 28 versions of the same opinion.
Social bots are computer programs designed to post vast amounts of content on many different platforms. They can create fake trends and make certain stories look more relevant than they really are.
Artificial intelligence is making fake news even harder to spot. It can manipulate video material in such a way that makes it nearly impossible for users to tell what's real and what's not.
President Trump is a total and complete dipshit.
Of course, Obama never really said that. The video was produced by American filmmaker Jordan Peele to highlight the dangers of so-called deepfake videos. Today, anyone can access the software needed to make one. And the algorithms keep getting smarter. They can already transfer one person's expressions to a different person's face in real time. Just imagine. You could easily put together a video where Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin declare World War III. And digital technology to fake someone's voice is advancing too. All this makes fake footage a real threat.
For a long time, human voices were the greatest challenge. Because every voice is incredibly complex and unique, they're almost impossible to fake. But in recent years, enormous progress has been made. The combination of video footage and manipulated voices poses a huge threat.
So what can we do to spot fakes? Luckily, there are all kinds of tools and sites available today that can help, like Truly.media, a verification platform co-developed by DW. It lets journalists and NGO activists jointly verify the authenticity of online content. And many others are working on similar tools as well.
Germany's Fraunhofer Institute for Secure Information Technology is developing software to spot fake news by analyzing text. It's been fed hundreds of fake stories to learn how to spot words and phrases that often turn up in bogus articles. Lab testing showed the software to be 97% accurate in identifying fake news.
This piece says two poverty migrants climbed into an apartment via the balcony and raped a frail grandmother. The author used the emotionally charged word grandmother instead of pensioner and mentioned poverty migrants. This is typical for negative fake news stories, and computers can learn to spot them.
The German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence, or DFKI, is working on news verifier software. Professor Andreas Dengel and his team want to use algorithms to help detect fake news by identifying the kinds of images used.
The idea behind the software is to check whether the images used are authentic, to verify if they really depict what they claim to show, and if they've been used in the correct context. We check if the text accompanying the image actually fits the picture.
The software, for instance, quickly detected that this picture of a brutal police crackdown first appeared online in 2011. It was originally taken during Egypt's Tahrir Square protests. The software also flags when images are shared online again at a later time. In 2013, for example, a Twitter user from Venezuela reposted the image and falsely claimed it depicted protests in his home country.
The picture was removed from its original context. The purpose of this was to generate the impression of a reality that never existed.
The researchers want to build a software that everyone can use to check the authenticity of an image with just a single click.
Much work still lies ahead, however, as the software is still in its early stages. Even so, all of us can do our part to uncover fake news. First, by checking how reliable a source is. It could be a bot. Second, use search engines to check if other trustworthy media outlets are also reporting certain stories. And finally, use Google's reverse image search or software like TinEye to verify the authenticity of pictures. What about you? Have you come across fake news? Let us know on Facebook, dw.com, or YouTube, where we've got even more tips for you on how to spot disinformation.